day that we announce
Just send it.
Gatorade sponsorship.
Our partnership. Starting off great. It sounds exactly like we haven't recorded in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I mean, the first thing that we can hop right into is going to be this tournament play that we briefly got to experience as a club.
Which I don't even know if that's like the game matters less now in retrospect, because I would have totally cared if we won that cup.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, looking back on it, I'm not that much more concerned than I would be about like any regular like friendly game.
Yeah. I think it was right for Ronnie to go into that like fully fielding a team that he would field for any other competition or game. But like you said, like crashing out of it, especially the way that we did, it doesn't really feel like it mattered.
Yeah, in the moment it mattered a lot, and I think a lot of how we lost had to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I think I kind of psyched myself into thinking that was like a Champions League game or something.
Yeah.
I thought it was bigger because it was against a Mexican opponent, but at the end of the day, it really didn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, I think with this club, the fact that we don't have any trophies yet, like we should be going for any
everything.
trophy that we have the ability to play for.
Any and everything.
And luckily, we have a manager that echoes that in Ronnie, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing about him that we could talk about today.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it's the way that we crashed out of it. It's like with the 2 disallowed goals, at the very least, the Santi one is entirely questionable, I guess.
Questionable is...
It's being nice to the
questionable
refs.
is questionable.
Yeah.
If you can follow. We won that game.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
would say so.
Pumas, but we won that game. Simply.
That's 2 episodes in a row.
That's 2 episodes in a row. That card has it coming.
Yeah.
But no, we won that game at the end of the day. I mean, it sucks to be those guys constantly that have to come on here and say that the refs did this and that, but we always have to be those guys because it seems to always be us. And we even said before we don't want to be those victims. We don't want to be those guys, but
Yeah.
it's hard not to.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it's constantly, happening, it's definitely very hard not to. Because it comes to a point where you're losing too many games and none of them are your fault.
Yeah, I think I think the quality of that tournament obviously isn't there, but we should investigate that referee. He's got deposits somewhere from somewhere.
What we got to talk about the penalty shootout, because there is one thing to be said about being forced into a situation that you don't need to be in, bro.
This all day.
Can that be picked up?
I don't know. Want to go look before we get into the penalty stuff? I mean, this is getting insane. Yeah.
Oh,
hey, we can talk on our podcast.
We're back.
Let's go.
Start the timers.
Let's go.
That's crazy.
Wow. It's nice to be able to talk on our podcast.
Yeah.
This is a great platform.
That was the 3rd time today that same karma alarm.
Karma alarm. Karma alarm.
Yeah, that the karma alarm has gone off. The same car. We might go for round 4 by the end of the episode.
I think so.
We're gonna have to find out.
I think we're gonna be there.
But what we were getting into was the penalty shootout. So,
I mean, off the bat, I can't fault Ronnie for anything but his penalty selection. And
right.
I think a lot of people have said this, and I'm gonna say this while fully knowing that we just beat a team 2-0, dominated the game. We needed to do that. Mm-hmm. And so I'm fully backing Ronnie. And here we go again. But I think we just gamble that it doesn't get picked up.
Yeah.
If you do happen to hear a car alarm, it will not stop. It has not stopped. We have no peace here.
This is crazy.
But yeah, so we're fully backing. I can't focus, bro. What do I do? Oh my God, bro. I'm about to bug. I'm about to bug out the window, bro. I swear to God. I hope the. So ridiculous. Thank you.
Let's go.
All right.
The alarm is off.
At least we have some peace, some joy. This is about to play something.
The penalties.
Yeah. So while fully saying that we, at least I back Ronnie at this exact time, that was not the selection I would have made for penalties at all. First of all, and second of all, a lot of people have said it. You have to leave Maxi off pens. You have to leave him off the sheet for penalty kick shootouts. Leave him off everything penalty related. He's not the guy.
I don't know how Ronnie hasn't gotten to that point yet.
It's because I get it. You're afraid to make that bold of a decision. Mm-hmm. And Maxi is world class. Like, he is our best player, if not in the top 3, definitely. Because I think number 1 is kind of interchangeable between 3 people right now. But he's a great player, not a great penalty taker. And those two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
He's just not that guy.
Yeah. I mean, one penalty that I do want to talk about of the bunch was James Sands. So I think, there's definitely a handful of people, probably including us, that would be shocked to see that many defenders, within your first 5 pen takers, especially when you have people like, maybe not Tales, but Thiago, Santi, people that can obviously score, and they've proven it. Santi more so, confidence. Even in that game. I mean, Santi, we can get deeper into him, but he's been playing absolutely lights out. But Sands, he kind of in a way was able to shut everybody up, because I think the cool thing about penalties is you could really compare them 1-to-1, like, in the world, because everybody's at the spot. And everybody, has to place it somewhere. And then he comes out and he says, I picked my spot. I didn't care what the keeper was going to do, and I put it where I wanted to put it. And then he goes and yells in his face, too, afterwards. Yeah,
and gives him a taste of what he had been doing to others. And I like that aspect of the penalty shootouts, but I don't like Maxi's reaction to missing a pen and then getting chipped at and, like, not giving it back, not doing anything, but he tried to shake the hands. Like, it looks a little rough.
Yeah, I mean, he deservedly so was probably pretty disappointed in himself.
Yeah.
I think, this is the thing that now every time I'm sure he already, has some type of mental warfare, and that has affected his penalty kicks, but this is something that now makes the opposition side attacking his mental stronger.
He just needs to seriously spend time and look at all of his penalties and see and talk to Sean, talk to the goalkeeper room, and see what he's giving away in those pens, because there has to be something. It's not like he's skying the ball or he's missing the frame. He's getting it on target and just getting saved. Yeah. So clearly there's something that he's doing that's giving away where he's going, what spot he's trying to go to.
I mean, that's definitely a good idea, but I'm beyond the point of, like, trusting him at the spot. And, like, I don't even feel comfortable giving him, like, the reps in serious situations to get back into it. I don't think we're a team that needs him to be taking pens either. Like we just said, with all the talent we have, there's no reason to be wasting a spot on him with his record. There just isn't.
Yeah, in terms of penalties, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, on the field, Maxi has been
unmatched.
Really. Yeah, really unmatched, especially as of late. Especially in this Miami game, playing ridiculously. And we could get right into that with the assist that he lobbed up to Tati, and it was even an insane finish by Tati. But that ball from Maxi is world class. Genuinely, that's ridiculous.
And on his weak foot too.
Yeah,
we have to realize that's on his weak foot, directly to Tati's head. Granted, Tati maybe could have jumped over Maxi.
Yeah.
With that header, but insane finish, and it's insane. It's so nice to see Tati actually being confident in getting goals. Which, like, obviously the second goal, we had some dispute over. It was a beautiful goal. I loved watching it.
Tati's pen.
Not Tati's pen.
Well, Tati took the pen, but
yeah,
you would argue it's Thiago's pen.
Yeah, I just don't. I feel like like Thiago's kind of in not a rut, but he started so fast, and obviously that wasn't sustained throughout all of the games. Like, I don't think anybody really expected it, but at least a part of you when you're playing has to think like, oh, this all happened so fast. Is this going to be my year? This is going to be my breakout? And then it slows down like this. He won the pen. I would have preferred him getting it.
Yeah, I mean, he asked for it.
Yeah,
too,
and Tati waved him off.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that shows the confidence of Tati, and that's why I'm thinking, granted, they're both confident because they both wanted to, so who really knows?
Yeah.
But I just think I feel like Tati has all the confidence in the world right now. Let's get Thiago to the point where he has all the confidence in the world too. Yeah. And so we have that partnership up there.
I mean, you're definitely right. Like, Thiago's career in NYCFC started off so quickly. That was against DC United, right? Was that his first game, or it was his second game? And the first one he scored in as well, both coming on as a sub. I mean, he's regressed to a point, but that's only because the start was so good. Yeah. It's not to say that he's playing bad now. He's just, still great, but not out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, you could still, even in winning the pen, you could see he was confident enough to do the things to get him in that position. Yeah. But, then he's also sending some shots into Callan's car window. So, like, which version we see maybe depends on how confident he is. But I think he's gonna keep playing. I mean, he's an insane talent. Yeah. It's just, I would have liked to see him get in the goals, but I could also have seen it going the way where Thiago does get the pen, he does miss, and then we end up tying 1-1 or 2-1 losing or something like that. So obviously it had to happen this way.
Because if he does, I'm thinking if he does score the pen, there's some degree of confidence boost, but if it was to get saved or even if he missed it, I think the loss is like double what the boost would have been.
Yeah, especially after calling for it, knowing that, you're not the normal guy.
Yeah, although I think this is kind of what I was telling you during the game, but I think Thiago sort of is like confident throughout regardless. And I think that's something that like you see a lot from like a lot of South American players, especially coming from leagues like that. And when they're put into situations, coming to big teams, I guess you could call us in the MLS, or at least a big market.
Big market, yeah.
Like where it would take a lot for him to shed any type of confidence, because I think in the best way possible that he's very humble when it comes to believing in like what he can do and knowing what he can do. And we see that in the way, I don't even know how to explain it, where he put like 3 different people on stilts, like
in a row
for no reason, just literally to keep possession and then just pass it and play it. Yeah. And I think the skills have always been a good way to tell if a player is still feeling confident. And that's something we see in him, and that we even see in Tales and Santi and all these new guys.
Well, I would also find it very hard to be him and not be confident, because the second he's even looked at or about to get the ball, every single NYCFC fan is on their feet screaming for him. Like, he is a star in New York. He really is. I don't think things will really take away from it. I would like to see him get boosted to a level where like he's not even second guessing himself. Yeah. Where he just plays and balls. But overall, it was a good game. We dominated. There really was no point where I thought Miami was going to do anything. Yeah. Outside of like Chanot error, Sean Johnson error.
Sands almost own goal.
Early it was a little shakier. There were shaky moments, I should say.
Yeah. I think this is the shakiest we might have ever seen James Sands, period, for us.
Coming off when he wasn't statement pen.
Too. Yeah. When he wasn't, so as good as he was now, he wasn't really getting the time, so we weren't seeing many bad moments from him. But in like recent history, early game at least today, like was very, very shaky. Kind of giving up on runs in behind Gonzalo when he caught the line perfectly or something like that. Or with the own goal, he kind of just completely whiffed the ball. But he tightened it up to some degree by the end of the game. I would say that, I don't think people really have to worry too much about that, like being a consistent problem. I think everybody is like due a couple of those games throughout a season, and he's been the best defender that we have on our team probably for the whole year.
Well, one thing to say about him, I think mentally switching off on Higuain, if it's anybody 10 years younger, that's a goal.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, on that switch off, it was only because Higuain hit the chip a little too hard.
Yeah.
Like, it was a goal otherwise.
Yeah, and I can't even say that word right now.
Uncharacteristically.
Sure.
There's
Leave
too
that
many
in.
C's.
There's too many
I don't know.
things there. But unlike Higuain, I should say. I should dumb down the way I speak. Normally, like Ian Joy said, he just puts his foot through that and blasts it. He doesn't care if it hits you in the face and takes your head off. And so I think even Sean Johnson was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
As he was watching it go over his head.
We're lucky.
Yeah, we are lucky that he didn't put his foot through that, because in that case, it's a goal too. And so I don't think we're lucky to get the result. I think we dominated for majority of that game, but it's moments like that turn a 2-0 dominating win into a draw, into then losing full composure and losing the game. So we need to stay checked on.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen this year. I mean, if you look at the last 2 games before Pumas, that's, more or less what happened. Definitely against Toronto.
Yeah.
We go into halftime up 2, and then, all of a sudden they get a little bit of momentum, and we end up leaving with 1 point. And these are crucial games that, with a team like Toronto who, in history, Toronto is one of those teams that you're scared of, especially going out to their field. But, they're kind of in a soft spot right now. And with both Chicago, with the 17-year-old keeper making his debut, and then Toronto right afterwards, I mean, I think both of us thought, and like even probably many of the fans thought, at least Chicago, but even Toronto, that we were getting 3 points out of both games.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even as away games against, teams that can make things happen, but it still felt like it was 100%.
Yeah, and it's games like those that we should be winning, and also games like those that when you lose or draw, forces the boys into a forced break.
Yeah.
So where we don't want to speak on camera because there's really nothing good to say.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And so, coming up,
it's a tough stretch.
It is, but it is. It's tough in the sense that Philly, they're always going to give you a game. And then Red Bull, they're horrible.
Yeah.
But it's a rivalry, so anything can happen.
Right. What I'm looking towards, in at least like the somewhat distant future, is the back-to-back New England games. That's going to teach us a lot about this team, I think. Because, even if we lose the first one, it's going to be nice to have that immediate rebuttal chance.
Well, there is Nashville in between.
Oh, we've got a midweek?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, technically, back-to-back Saturdays on Saturdays.
So, 7 days apart. And against a team that's been flying high the whole season, I think they've, maybe held first place in the Eastern Conference at least, like, most of the season, right? So it's going to be a team we're going to have to figure out, because if we don't figure them out now, we're going to have to figure them out at some point in the playoffs. So better now than later. And, we need the confidence from those games. And the points.
The points matter somewhat. If we're going for first. If not points, then the confidence to know that we can, and to know that that's a challenge that we can overcome.
Yeah.
And so all of these games really are that test. Outside of these fixtures, though, with Philly, Red Bulls, Revolution twice, and then Nashville, there's really not much left for us outside of that Atlanta game. And so the rest of the season is more figuring out who's the actual 11 for the playoffs, and making sure that we are really putting a stamp on the season and saying, like, okay, we can kind of figure out who this 11 is.
Yep.
But this is the final stretch.
Yeah. It's going to be, like you said, after the New England game, it's going to be about just building and managing the confidence of whoever the stars end up being at that point.
And we need to know by that Atlanta game
Yeah.
really who is our best 11, and that's in October.
Yeah.
And all of these games, like, I know I'm talking about it as if it's gonna end in like a month, but it's gonna go quick. It's gonna feel very, very quick. And so we need to know now. We need to start knowing.
And it seems like Ronnie, at least with selection, has been trying to figure that out himself, because our lineups have looked so different from, the past games as they come out. Like, you've seen an incredible amount of rotation, something that the club has never seen. We've never had depth like this. We talk about that all the time.
And we thought we had depth like this, but
never like this.
never.
I mean, we've never even been close to the depth that we have now. I mean, to the point where Alexi Lalas is giving us his top.
Yeah, I
power
kind of took
ranking.
that as a curse, though.
Yeah.
And that's, I kind of worry that people will see our stuff and be offended by our opinions and stuff like that. Like, take them personally.
Yeah.
And I really don't want that in any case other than Alexi Lalas. Like, I want him to take it personally.
Yeah. I mean, this is the only take I've ever heard from him that I've agreed with. All I could say that about the man.
Genuinely.
The only one.
Yeah. But tangent.
Yeah.
We'll be back for, obviously, after, I think we're probably going to end up waiting for Philly and Red Bulls, because it's a midweek game, so we're probably going to have both of those together. And then we're going to be previewing also in that episode Revs versus NYCFC.
Yeah, at Yankee Stadium.
And so with that, we're going to head out.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next week. Post 90 on all platforms. Finally got an outro. Almost an intro. Perfect. So we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.